12 Eyewitness News. Today's weather.
Yep.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's discussion on ransomware. My name is Cosmo Gazani. With me is Assad Kokar, our security expert. And today I'd like to ask Assad, what are some countermeasures against ransomware? What can we do to help protect? I mean, everyone hears about it. What can we do?
So one of the biggest things right now, or the challenges that companies are facing right now, is from end users clicking, and this is the biggest threat vector that ransomware has on how it spreads to organizations. And one of the biggest things that companies can do, or steps or countermeasures that they can put into place, is security awareness training. It's very important that you train your employees not to click on emails, which are basically phishing scams, and train them on how to identify those spam emails.
Right. You know how training goes. How often should training be done so that it actually sticks in the mind and our end users know that they're not supposed to click on certain things or go to certain websites?
So it should be done routinely within an organization, and we generally say do it quarterly. And we also say and suggest that organizations put into place phishing techniques to test their users, and whoever fails those tests have to go ahead and take quizzes and special more training. Basically, it's enhanced training for the people who failed those tests.
Right. What else? What else can we do for ransomware beyond just the end user?
So the second thing that we can do is even if we are training these employees and they're still clicking on, because you obviously cannot control people from clicking on those links. We can only train them to identify them and not click on them. The next thing you could do is have a backup solution within your organization, which can recover your data as quickly as possible when ransomware spreads within your organization.
Right. But how do we know? And everyone should have a backup policy in place, right? But how do we know? How do we know that a ransomware attack or malware is not spreading or propagating into the backup data store?
So one of the things that we recommend, just as like we're doing routine security awareness training, we also need to do routine backup tests. These are important to confirm that the backups that you've taken of your data you can restore from. A lot of people put in backup solutions in their organization and never test them until the disaster strikes. And at that time, it's just too late. Also, another thing that we can do is air gap some of the backups, which basically means you take a backup and leave it offsite and leave it from being changed. So your backup solution can't touch that backup, and ransomware obviously cannot affect that backup. So you have a recovery time or a recovery point where you can restore from, and it cannot be changed.
Excellent. All right, Asad, we're running a little short on time, but give me one more protection tip against ransomware.
So the last thing that I'd probably mention is the next-gen endpoint protection on every single desktop, laptop, and endpoint. This protects the users even if they click on those links from the ransomware from spreading within your organization like wildfire.
You mentioned next gen. What is next gen versus traditional? Virus protection and malware protection?
Yep. So traditional antiviruses looked at some basic signatures of these attacks happening outside on the cloud or on the internet. Next gen basically looks at behavior of the user, which is very important, and some of the behaviors that you can. So traditional applications like Microsoft Word, they know that Microsoft Word will not be launching a PowerShell or anything like that. Next gen will pick those things up and say your Microsoft Word has just launched a PowerShell, and that's where next gen comes into place. They pick up behavior and also create different ways to protect you from the threat intel they gather on the internet.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Assad. We're out of time today, but thank you again for your time, and hopefully you found this conversation helpful and some of the tips that you can implement in your own organization. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Take care.